Well, now's the time. So here on Maui, probably more than a lot of places, but everywhere, there's this 2012, this cryptic date.
Oh.
What is it that,
Okay,
now that you mentioned the 2016, what about 2012?
Okay, we'll go back a little bit.
We're obviously going to make it to 2016.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You see, there's two beliefs. The one belief says it's the end of the world. And what I did was, and all my investigations, all of my studies, all of what I did, before I publish anything, I go and test it. And when I get 100% result, I'll publish it. And that's why I was disappointed when you said 90. 95 would have been good.
Okay. Well, you know, I fall in the realm of, what's your friend? Skeptic.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for a skeptic, that's quite good.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ask me, what do you know about 2012? What's going to happen? They're pumping out Nostradamus. They're pumping out, they're making, for whatever reason, what people want to look at. But I believe, so I can only tell you what I believe, is that the Mayan people got it right. And if you really, really understand, and I mean, not just go and look at a few books, this is quite a very in-depth study. From the beginning of time until 2012, what they are saying is that time, it's like you are small enough to be in grass and watch a blade of grass grow. And you can watch it day by day by day. And eventually, your consciousness says, I'm tired of this, I need to look beyond. So you grow a little bit, and you think, there's a lot of grass here, but there's trees over there. So you walk on top of the grass, very small, and you go and watch the tree grow. This takes a lot of time. And then you see, like Hawaii, the molten rock and the earth being formed, and you watch this, and this takes a lot of time. And as it moves along and we become more conscious, when I say conscious evolving, is our awareness is growing. And it's written in the Bible, it's written in the Torah, it's written in the Quran, it's written in the Bhagavad Gita, because I've studied all of them, and the Mayan people, and the Aztecs, and whatever you want to go and study, it's written that at the end time, intelligence will start to grow. And we go back to the Mayan people.
Intelligence start to, so end time meaning, is that the 2012 thing? No.
Oh no, this is what's going to happen. So what they did was, the periods that sort of ran right up to 1992, they pinpointed the dates of the Bronze Age, the Industrial Age, and then this age that would start in 1992, and the beginning of the end, as we know it, will be 2011, culminating in this awareness in 2012. And what I believe it's going to be, in that 20-year period, the last 20, which we're now almost at the end of, is that it's like living next to Galileo, and he comes out one morning and says, by the way, the earth is round and not flat. This is a big shock to the consciousness that if you walked so far, you'd fall off the edge of the planet. I can keep walking and come back to where I started. And that's almost what I've done, by the way, with this trip, is if you took a rod and took it from Maui straight, exactly right through, you'd come out at South Africa. So I'm at the 180 degrees to where, I mean, you look at your watch now, it's whatever the time, it's 6 o'clock in the evening, it's 6 o'clock in the morning there.
So I just want to be clear, so you saying that 2012 is almost like a reset button?
It's a reset and recheck, and your awareness is going to shift. But you see, it's not on one person. It's not one person coming down and claiming. It's not one speaker saying, follow me, I'm your savior, or what, you know, what we believe. It's a happening that gets us to see a different perspective on life. And according to the Mayan people, we're going to understand how the mind works. Before it was, you know, we could brainwash people, we could enslave people, we could do what we like. When you get to this point, nobody can do this to you anymore.
I gotcha.
And then the people who are in control and power are going to try and arrest this back, and they will fight with each other. And that's when the evolved, or the people who understand this, will say, you can't do this, stop. We know how to live without you, and that will collapse.
Gotcha.
Okay?
You've helped police in South Africa solve crimes.
Yes.
The Colombo of, the pin code Colombo.
I hope they're not watching.
Yeah.
I do, I've been into High Court, the Supreme Court, but it's sort of very in the background because I do profiling.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get stuck and they've tried every avenue, they come to me. And I'll relate one specific case. And I've got to be fair about this because
Mm-hmm.
this is what I do. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
people to go and sort of be arrested and it's wrongful and because I said it's like this. I need a lot of facts.
Mm-hmm.
And they came to me and said, we have a murder case. We have the evidence. We have the blood in the boot or the trunk, as you call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the statements. We've got the children who are young, but we've got no body. And until we get a body, it's all circumstance. So I said, okay, give me the PIN codes, but I need the wife who was murdered. I wanted the husband who was the #1 suspect. I wanted the children. I wanted the in-laws. I wanted his parents. I wanted all the circumstance, salary, her job, because all of this makes it dynamic. And what came out of this was that he was very attached to his children, extremely, and even in PIN codes, he was their soulmate. But if you look at PIN codes, and now I'm going to be a little bit clinical, it was almost like she was there just to produce the children and then finished. And what she should have done was moved on, okay, and left the children with him. Not moved on or died, just gone and done something else. Or respected the fact that he had this connection with the children because she didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
But because she was very strong, she demanded this, and she used the children against him and was about to move out and leave the country, and he murdered her. Oh. So he had the children. So I wrote the profile, and I said, you need to look at all of these. This is mitigating factors that you need to look at this man before you say, right, we have a murderer. To the point that he was pushed, because this is what it will do. So you need to get a psychiatrist to go and do this. And then they said, but what about the body? I said, right, according to the PIN code and what he would do and the way he acts, take a pinpoint where the murder occurred and draw a radius of 13 miles around and walk that 13 miles until you find where you can bury a body. And exactly 13 miles in that radius was a cemetery. And they went, obviously, through the whole, sorting out, and they found one grave that had been freshly dug, but it had been there a long time. They opened it, and there was the body. Now, I know you're going to say, how did you do this? But if you understand how people, because when you get into the mind of how people's minds really work, and this is when I come to, and I've spoken to a number of people who work in the social services here.
But did you figure that out? Was that a PIN code related thing?
You know, there's a way of doing things. I know what you will do under certain circumstances, and I know how you think. And so it was, I'm saying it's easy, but if you know how people's minds work, and if you understand how the inner mind is really working under those conditions to protect everything, he will go. He was very, very clever, and he would think up things. And if you understood his job, which is in programming and encrypting, then you know what he would do in real life. He would encrypt and do the same thing in his real life.